Have you heard the story about how Monica Lewinsky saved Social Security? That's right, that Monica Lewinsky, the most famous intern of the 20th century. The beret, the cigar, the dress. If it hadn't been for her, Social Security as we know it would have ended. In this story, she's practically Joan of Arc. Historian Stephen Gillen tells the tale in his book, The Pact, Bill Clinton, Newt Gingrich, and the Rivalry That Defined a Generation. According to Gillen, there was a growing consensus on both sides of the aisle in favor of having Social Security tap into the stock market to increase the rate of return on retirement funds. You know, exactly like George W. Bush wanted to do in 2005. As Thomas Frank points out in his recap of the action, the mutual fund industry had been lobbying hard for this change. Brokerage accounts for every American would add billions in revenues just from the fees that these companies could charge. Sympathetic players like the libertarian Cato Institute, which has yet to find a government program they don't want to dismantle piece by piece, raised millions to increase public awareness about the crisis in Social Security, helping pave the way for what the Wall Street Journal described would be the biggest bonanza in the history of the mutual fund industry. Projections showed that diverting just 2% of Social Security's payroll into private accounts would send $60 billion a year in 1996 money in increased revenue to banks, investment firms, and insurance companies. What's not to like? The public's perception at the time was that Bill Clinton and Republican House Speaker Newt Gingrich were mortal enemies. The truth was that they had built up a grudging respect for one another after a series of political battles. The president's capitulation on welfare reform and NAFTA had gone a long way to convincing Gingrich that Clinton was not the closet liberal he had feared. Both were educated Southern gentlemen with lots more in common than met the eye. When it came to Social Security, the president was closer to Gingrich than he was to the leadership of his own party, according to Gillen. On the night of October 28, 1997, spooky season, Gingrich met with Clinton at the White House in the treaty room of the East Wing to hammer out the details. The two men agreed that the Social Security system needed to incorporate some new options in the form of privately managed individual retirement accounts. The retirement age for getting full Social Security benefits would be raised. A committee would also be created to start privatizing Medicare as well. In exchange for serving up this wet dream platter of Republican priorities, Gingrich kept his poker face and promised to stop demanding that the new government surplus be spent on tax cuts for the rich. Gillen plays this down the middle, but one imagines that Gingrich kind of had to fight the urge to click his heels in the air and collapse in a fit of giggles as Clinton spun him through a tour of the Lincoln bedroom and then rushed off to dinner. Gillen says that Gingrich, with a gift for understatement, recognized he shared common interests on some major policy initiatives with Clinton. At the end of the meeting, an action plan was in place. First, Clinton would talk about the need to reform Social Security and Medicare in the 1998 State of the Union speech. Gingrich agreed to play against type afterward and praised the president's address, supporting the need for reform. Then Gingrich would ask the House Ways and Means Committee to make some specific, that is, predetermined recommendations about how to reform Social Security. Remember that 1998 was a midterm election year, so the idea was to spend the campaign season playing footsie with the idea of privatizing Social Security, but not really making it an issue that either the Democrats or Republicans would focus much attention on. After the elections, Clinton and Gingrich would spring their trap. No matter the election results, the lame duck session would be used to ram privatization legislation through the House and Senate. That way, neither Clinton nor Gingrich's hands would get dirty, and the public would have 2 whole years to get over the complete outrageousness of their scheme before the next election. Clinton held up his end of the bargain, alluding to saving Social Security first in the 1998 State of the Union speech. But any such talk was like a fart in an Oklahoma twister at that point. Just 1 week before, the Washington Post had run a screaming front-page headline. Clinton accused of urging aide to lie. The Lewinsky scandal had broken. Ultimately, the plan was scuttled in the political and media uproar that followed. Reflecting on the whole secret affair, and I'm talking about the deal to ram a stiletto blade into Social Security's spinal cord here, not the Monica Lewinsky affair, Clinton's chief of staff, Erskine Bowles, confirmed it was Lewinsky who saved our nation's most beloved social program, saying Gingrich wanted to do it, Clinton wanted to do it. It was a real missed opportunity. Monica changed everything. Monica Lewinsky was just a kid who made an unfortunate choice. But everybody who continues to get a Social Security check today owes her a debt of gratitude. She was the one who saved Social Security from a Democratic president all too willing to send it down the river. Just imagine how all that would have worked out. American Social Security retirement accounts coming online at just about the same time that the internet bubble popped, cratering the stock market. It sure wouldn't have been pretty. Sometimes it's funny how life works out. I just want to say thank you, Monica.
Please like, follow, favorite, and check out my Substack for an even more in-depth version of this story.
Let's make them pay.